Hello, welcome back to the channel. Um, we did theme thoughts a couple weeks ago about going on a journey, and it was kind of a hit, so I think we may end up doing this more often, kind of give my own thoughts on a theme and maybe some tracks that I think are representative of it or would fit within it. And I also noticed in the comments it gave everyone sort of a place to sound off about some of their ideas that would fit for the theme, in case anybody was curious about diving more into the topic. So we're going to do that again. I mean, the theme this week was huge payoffs. What does that mean? It's kind of different for everybody. I think on this week there are only two tracks that I perceived subjectively that I didn't really see too big of a payoff, and that was Deaf Heaven's. I remember Sunbather is the album. I can't remember what the track was called. Um, and then it was Iron Maiden's Power Slave. And I think I broke down why those two weren't really big payoffs to me in the videos, but the idea is that when I'm looking for a track with a big payoff, I'm expecting basically like a thriller film, right? So we start off with low stakes, low energy, low tension. We build up from there. There's going to be dips and rises, right? Your act one needs to have a pretty bombastic end to its act. So we reach a peak here and we bring it down a little bit to start act two at. Rising tension again. The idea is though is we have these peaks and valleys throughout, but the idea is that over the course of time we are rising in intensity until we hit a peak of tension, and typically after that there's going to be a release. The release is going to be the payoff. And the release can come in a lot of different ways. It could come from rising tension leading to uh, optimistic vibes, right? A lot of tension moving to resolution. It could be a very narrow sound exploding into a very full sound sphere. There's lots of ways to create this payoff where the time spent in an idea gets moved towards something that makes that time spent worthwhile. It's the entire concept of the slow burn. You're going to feel these ideas stack up over time, and then eventually at the end, hopefully, once you hear everything together, it's going to make that time spent getting there worthwhile. And that's what a payoff is to me. It is when you spend time with something, and at the end, you're like, well, I wasn't a big fan of being in this moment, but being here made this moment worthwhile. And maybe you are a big fan of the build up. I've made it a point many times. Build ups can be a bit dry for me, especially in a critical situation. Lights on, camera on, my brain's fully engaged, and I'm just hearing the same things over and over as we add more layers. Um, I violin comes in. Okay, I know what they're doing. Now I gotta wait, another 30 seconds for the next instrument. There's just not enough movement for the active listening to get paid off, and so I find them to be a bit boring in that context. But of course, casually, being in that buildup is part of the fun, feeling that tension and the repetition until it evolves into the next thing. And so I was looking through my catalog, my library of music, trying to find something that I think would really work for this. And I don't think I listen to music with big payoffs. I tend to associate the idea with prog and post. Post rock and post metal both do very well with this. Um, I'd say shoegaze is another genre that can do this well. That it's not as baked in, it's not as core to it, but it can do it very well. These are all genres that, honestly, aside from prog rock as prog metal, which I knew about but didn't listen too much of, I never even heard of most of the rest of this until I started the channel. So my library is a bit weak. looking at the albums. Maybe if I went through a couple. Oh, you know what though? I bet this has one. I'm not coming to mind on one. Um, but Anathema's Fine Day to Exit probably has a couple of really good moments of this that I just can't think of right now. That might be the only album I have, though, that I think does this concept well. So I'm just going to point towards Jambinai, which I think is probably the best payoff I've listened to ever. In fact, not only when we checked out Onda on Thursday, I think that was, but also when we checked out another one of their tracks in live stream a while ago. Um, and I don't know what live stream that was, but I'm working on something where people will be able to find uh, if they're looking for a specific band and they want to know if they've been in a live stream. I got something cooking that's going to help with that. But we did check out a track on live stream and it blew me away, just like Onda did. They have a phenomenal way of building tension and then releasing it in the most cathartic, emotional way. And I think I was like sort of paralyzed and almost brought to tears during the live stream too. I don't know if all their music's like that, but they're two for two, which is, I mean, they definitely have a knack for writing that type of music. And of course, the song is this massive buildup. We slowly have new layers added. We remove a couple from the bottom so that they can come in as new layers later. And the whole thing is we build up to that big climactic moment in our third act. Oh, that song actually does have three pieces. It fits my film analogy much better than some songs do. But the whole song is built around that too. I would not disagree that there's some Porcupine Tree tracks or maybe even Dream Theater tracks. Not Dream Tool. I think Tool's what I want there. Where the song itself doesn't really isn't really built around a strong payoff, but the bridge itself is a slow burn into a payoff that works really well. That might lead us back to the chorus to wrap the track up. That kind of idea. I think that still fits the bill. It's just that that's not usually what I think of when I'm thinking of a huge payoff, because to me the huge payoff would be the final moment. The whole song is designed around it, and that is a bit limiting in scope. So I didn't want to make that a criteria, but that is typically what I think of when it comes to, and I think that's why Jembe and I fit really well in that category. So yeah, those are sort of my thoughts on this whole thing. I kind of wish I had more tracks to point towards. I think I did 3 tracks last week. And maybe I should. I mean, today I can just put a little thing up in the corner and be like, go check out that other video we did of Jambina. But like last week, I almost wish I could have included some snippets. But like, how do you include snippets of going on a journey without putting a whole song in? I don't know. There's got to be a way that I can modify this format to showcase my ideas instead of just saying, "Hey, this is a song. Go find it and check it out." Something to think about for the future, I suppose, as continue to expand the ideas of the channel. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the whole idea of what a payoff is, and Jambina is just such a good track for it. I'm really glad we got that one on this week. Anyways, as usual, let me know in the comments, if you agree with this idea, if you have a slightly different idea, if you completely disagree, like, no, Brian, you're totally wrong. This is what a huge payoff is, like for real. And if you have any of your own tracks that you think would have fit for the week, go ahead and drop them down there. If people really enjoyed this, they want more of it, this would be a really nice treasure trove of songs with great payoffs. The comment section here. All right, as usual, be critical, not cynical of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or even anytime. Really, just have a great day.